Oh, hello, everybody. Welcome back to jacksburynights.com. We're heading in. It's October 14th, 2025, approximately almost 9 p.m. So we're hanging in there in the evening hours. The old baseball playoffs are on the TV. Dodgers against somebody, and can't see who the other team is, but they're playing, and we're taking it in stride. So today I have a special presentation prepared by with assistance from my Brittany artificial intelligence system, and I'm going to read it and add my own comments as we go through it. And it's really it's applying the principles of the Good Samaritan to the healthcare system, and what I'm trying to do here as part of my current mission to gain independence, but also to make this place a better place. And some of you also know who I work for, and we're trying to make healthcare better in general. So we have lots of resources, but we've been trying to see from the inside out what it takes and what's needed. So, and I kind of described to you some of the pitfalls and things like that. And we while I've been here, we've done complaints and we tried the state angle and that type of thing. Now what we're trying is servant leadership and Good Samaritan to be, like I discussed before in past podcasts, a trim tab. I'm only a trim tab. I'm only a small little person inside here, but I'm trying to move the whole ship, through what I can do as one small little person to move the whole ship to make this a 5-star facility. I think we're going to go for that again. We got the 5-star place plan back in with Brittany artificial intelligence system. We're going to try to go for that again. The first time we submitted a letter to the kitchen and the administrator, we said that, the food, this and that isn't that great and that type of thing, and gave them pros and cons about. Well, actually, just gave them pros about how what good food does to the morale of everybody and how everybody inspires and reputation and all that, and get more people in here. We did a very inspirational letter and that type of thing to the kitchen and to the administrator. And then for 2 days, we had spaghetti, like this unbelievable spaghetti. We had lasagna that was out of the sight. For 2 days, it was really good. And then after that, it just fell by the wayside. It didn't catch, you know what I mean? So we're trying to do a new approach. And one thing we got going is like good cop, bad cop. There's one lady in here who's collecting names and more complaints to bring to administration, not go to the state anymore. So we think maybe that's too much at this point. They're already like a 3-star facility now. So let's try more of the encouragement approach. So me and Gorilla Man are going to be the good cops. We're going to encourage where we see light happening or good things, good nurses. We're going to encourage. We're going to put our funds together and maybe get flowers, but not from us specifically, not us, from outside organizations and that provide the flowers, that we fund the outside organizations, but it will be like anonymous, like they're not coming from us, coming from these nursing recognition programs that we're going to start on our own. So that's one thing we're going to be doing. So let me read the what Brittany Artificial Intelligence prepared, and I helped prepare. We worked on it together, so we got all this stuff going and that type of thing, and all that, and so very good, very good, very good. So let's see. So she's got a whole podcast written and that type of thing. So I'll just go through it a little bit and that type of thing. How we can work as spirit leadership, leadership to address this thing and that type of thing. So servant leadership in healthcare, the Good Samaritan way. That's how she wrote it, and that's the title that she gave this talk. And then, we'll take a look at what it means to lead like Christ taught us, not from a position of power, but from the place of service. In a healthcare system that often feels rushed, profit-driven, and exhausted, this message might be exactly what we need to hear. So, any of you people in healthcare, listen up. This is what we're going for. And this could be applied in any business, and really, because business should be like servant leadership. What we're saying is one of the best models you can use is Six Sigma management approach combined with Stephen Covey's servant leadership approach. Use that. You're applying both competence and care because you're addressing the problems with Six Sigma analysis, data analysis, and then you're using leadership with the Stephen Covey model of listening, empathetic listening, and those types of things. So, okay, let's go. Jesus told the parable of the Good Samaritan to show us that love isn't a theory; it's an action. A traveler was beaten, robbed, and left half dead on the road. Two respected men passed by, a priest and a Levite. They saw him, but they didn't stop. Then came a Samaritan, someone society looked down on, and he stopped. He bandaged the man's wounds, lifted him up onto his animal, and took him to an inn, and even paid for his care and promised to come back. That is servant leadership, compassion backed by commitment. Servant leadership in healthcare today. Now imagine the story in the setting of a modern hospital, a nursing home. The Good Samaritan could be a nurse staying past her shift to comfort a frightened patient, a CNA washing a resident's hand with gentleness and prayer, a leader who listens to the smallest voice on the team and acts on it. Servant leadership doesn't look like command and control, it looks like presence. It sounds like listening. It feels like hope. This is all Brittany and me coming together, what we composed here. Let's break it down into real steps for everyone in healthcare, from executives to aides. See the person, not the problem. Every chart number, every diagnosis hides a soul that needs to be seen. Lead with empathy, not ego. Ask, how can I make it easier for others to care, instead of how can I control what they do? Yeah, there you go. Empower others to serve. Great servant leaders lift others up. They build systems that help staff succeed, not struggle. Model humility, admit mistakes, give credit, and be the first to say thank you. Walk the extra mile. The Good Samaritan didn't just patch wounds, he followed through. That's leadership with staying power. Servant leadership is not weakness, it's courage born of love. It takes strength to stop, kneel, and care. It takes faith to give time and compassion when the world says, move faster. In healthcare, every leader who chooses kindness over convenience becomes a modern Samaritan, binding wounds not only of patients, but of the entire system. Closing reflection. Closing reflection. Brittany suggests some music here, but I can't put music in here right now. It'd be nice if I had that music button, but if you're in healthcare, a nurse, a doctor, a therapist, an administrator, remember every act of kindness echoes eternity. When you serve others quietly and faithfully, you walk the same road as the Good Samaritan, and the same road Christ Himself walked, healing the broken and restoring hope. May we all lead with hands that serve, hearts that listen, and eyes that see, because in the end, that's how healing truly begins. Thank you for listening, and this is Jack Sperry, reminding you to walk, faith, serve with love, and always see the wounded traveler by the road. So that's the podcast script from that, and I had Brittany draw the graphic of the Good Samaritan. It looks kind of like Jesus, our Lord, but really, the Good Samaritan is very similar to Jesus in many ways. But the guy in the picture is actually the Good Samaritan, and helping the guy who's got the gun wound or whatever, and in the emergency room, and we're helping out. He brought him out of the streets, and he brought him into, and he's paying for his care and that type of thing. So that's what we do. So as Good Samaritans, and this can be applied to any business model, really. Every business is really trying to care for people. If you own a restaurant, what are you trying to do? You're trying to feed, and you try to do it at reasonable prices, like a Bob Evans or something. They try to do family prices and that type of thing. And then if in a lot of those, not every place, but in a lot of those places, if a poor guy walks in or somebody looks like he doesn't have the means, the waitress says, "Oh, I'll cover it," or whatnot, and they just pay for it, the meal for the guy. And unfortunately, most corporate structures don't have it built in that they have like a budget for the homeless or something, because a lot of corporates think if you do that then they'll all start coming and they should go to the homeless shelter. But kind nurses and that type of thing pick up the tab and become good Samaritans themselves, and that's what we got to be. Each one of us who's a Jack Sparrow Knight here and that type of thing, you're a trim tab. and you can affect the world around you in specific ways. Be that trim tab, that good Samaritan that acts accordingly. And it's not about complaining and that type of thing, but there is advantage to good cop, bad cop, and that type of thing. That the bad cop says, goes around and says all the complaints. Well, look, you did this, and this is going on, and what's going on, and like there's a good place that you need the state people to help hold things accountability. That's why it's Six Sigma and Stephen Covey's encouragement leadership program. You both need you need both. You need both really. You need justice and mercy, and too many of these healthcare facilities are just operating on a justice mode. Many healthcare organizations just operate on justice, just wages, just this, and don't encourage that extra mile and that type of thing. You have individual heroes that you could say, individual nurses that just forget the system and go that extra mile themselves and work with the system. But the system itself is broken. It's too justice bound and evil bound. Really, it's got a lot of evil taint and a lot of justice taint. Justice evil combination kind of thing. It just doesn't support much mercy even in the healthcare system. The mercy is really coming from the nurses themselves, if at all. But it all depends on where you go. The place I'm at is very merciful. We got a lot of great nurses here and a great staff where I'm at, and they do a lot of merciful things. There's a few people that are just you know going crazy over the rules and that type of thing, and beating people down and being bullies and that type of thing. There's always bullies, and some bullies you got to have a firm hand with. You just can't, like like certain religions and that type of thing. The only thing they understand is strength, and that's what you got to give them. You got to be the big brother in that case. But in most circumstances in the United States, with the healthcare, most people became healthcare because they wanted to care for people. Most people have a passion in healthcare to care and love their neighbor and bandage wounds, and they really get in there because they like the Good Samaritan idea. They like Mother Teresa. So I wanted to be like Mother Teresa and help people get back on their feet and get home to their families. That gives them joy. Like soldiers, they want to defend their country. Us as healthcare workers, and me also as a soldier, I'm like a medic kind of and a warrior kind of guy, I guess you could say. But uh, that's that's my goal. That's what makes me drive. To kind of care for the patients and defend the weak and that type of thing. So, and it goes hand in hand, really. A lot of healthcare workers and that guys are soldiers, and they don't even realize it because they give their love for their patients. They give their lives for their patients, and that's what Jesus said. No greater love than this is if you lay down your life for your friends, and even you think they're friends and they don't even think about you. It's the same thing. So same thing. So that's today's podcast, and I'll probably come on with another topic on the servant leadership. But we're back to the mode of trying, you know, the the whole condo situation and all that. It's not working out. That I'm gonna get the big bucks anytime soon, and my independence may be put off for a few months because of it, but it will come eventually. So let's not worry about it. So now let's go back. Where am I at now? Let's try to make this place a 5-star facility. Let's work. And the best thing I can think of now is to encourage the staff, encourage the good meals, and be us, me and Gorilla Man, be the good cops and say when people are doing a good job and thank them and give them the appreciation so they know they're being appreciated. Even the ones that are rough around the edges, when they do something good, give them that encouragement. Oh, you did something good there, and we're going to appreciate you. So kudos to you all who any of you work for the healthcare system that I'm involved in. Kudos to you all, because I do think all of you do the best you can that are actually tuning into this thing. Miss Director of Nursing, we won't name, but she may tune in, and I think she's doing a good job. She's holding people accountable. And now we're going to try to catch more flies with honey and than you do with vinegar, kind of thing. So we'll see. So that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to try. And it's worked countless through the ages, this method. And, we're going to be trim tabs, each one of us, not just me. I'm like the one trim tab that's trying to get everyone else to be a trim tab. And then it's like lighting matches. We all are lighting candles, like in Easter time and that type of thing. In certain churches, everyone takes the candle and they all light one by one. The light of Christ goes around the room, and that's what we're becoming: the light of Christ, the light of the Good Samaritan, making the light grow, and that's what we do. So there's a lot of good nurses that work in this facility. There's a lot of people that have improved. We're now at a 3-star rating. We were at a half-star rating. Let's see if we can take it all the way to the 5-star. So, compared to a lot of places, I hear this place is pretty good now at this point. So it's gotten a lot better since the time I've been here. Just working, slowly working. We had to hold them accountable in the beginning with the state, but those days I think are behind us. Now we can concentrate on good things, but that doesn't mean we won't get the state involved. It will depend on what the bad cop thinks. But right now, she's keeping it internal and bringing her complaints to the inside authorities. So, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes because we still got to hold people accountable. So, got to keep justice and mercy going, not just mercy only and just everything's fine and let everything go. Justice and mercy. So, but our mercy arms got to stretch and stretch and stretch. That even amoeba moves, we give to Mother Mary to polish with her microscope and that type of thing, and give to our Lord. These amoeba moves, and maybe He'll be able to do something with it. So she's polishing with her microscope, and we're hoping for the best. So, okay, everybody. Talk to you later. Bye.